Okay, I'm just getting set up ahead of time. And I know I'm a little early, but not that early. I'm just about 8 minutes early. Today we have all kinds of interesting, itsy-bitsy details of news stories to cover. And I will be honest with you, tell you this straight out. This stuff is just over the top. First story is from Fox News. Okay? The second story was originally originally was published by a local newspaper in the area of County of Alamogordo or something, posted with the sheriff about the Solar Observatory. Now, I know everybody's going to say to me, why aren't you going to talk about...
well, here's an odd story we thought we'd tell you about. A week ago today, last Thursday, with no warning, federal authorities swooped into something called the National Solar Observatory. It's
from the New Mexico Observatory, sudden closure sparks wild speculation.
It's a federal facility. There's a post office next door to the observatory, and they've shut that down, too.
It looks like there's a news
Local residents
article.
watched all that. They saw at least one Black Hawk helicopter, for real, circling the site. The local sheriff told reporters that the FBI refused to explain any of what was happening to him. Quote, for the FBI to get involved that quick and be so secretive about it, there was a lot of stuff going on up there. Huh. What stuff? Well, we asked. The feds won't say. But the observatory today issued a cryptic statement about an unnamed security issue. Now, maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something. We're going to keep on it. Find out.
When you find out about it, you'll find out. And actually, it was also posted, the story was also posted in the local newspaper. Let's see if I can find the actual detail. But the detail part of the story says that they're not telling him anyone. Frank Fish, FBI spokesperson, couldn't confirm involvement, so according to the Albuquerque Journal, which I gotta pull that story here. And also, Mother did tell me some answers, and I will divulge them. I asked Current Report, who claims to be the Out on the Wire is working with him. Anyway, here's the report here. Closing the New Mexico Solar Observatory is a mystery. Now, dig this crazy bullshit story. Okay? And so this shows the observatory. I'm going to read this to you so I can actually, because that way I can also read your chats at the same time. It says here, the truth is out there, but nobody will go on the record about it. The rumors are swirling, and authorities are tight-lipped following the evacuation. That's a very interesting word, evacuation, of a southwest New Mexico last week. The National Solar Observatory in Sunspot near Alamogordo was evacuated last Thursday along with a nearby post office and has remained closed since without explanation. According to the facility's website, the observatory and surrounding areas are closed until further notice due to unforeseen circumstances. The Association of Universities of Research in Astronomy, that's AURA, is addressing a security issue and has decided to temporarily vacate the facility as a precautionary measure. Why would you need to vacate the facility due to a security issue? AURA spokeswoman Sherry Lifson said in a statement, quote, "We have no further comment at this time." In the Lincoln National Forest, the observatory has been involved in solar research since 1947. Since the closure, there has been the news has spread nationwide with headlines like I'm definitely not saying it's aliens. And lighting up internet message boards with fervor and speculation. Left since that Aura is working at the proper authorities, but would not name them. The closure even caught Otero County Sheriff Benny House by surprise. Some folks that work in the laboratory called us and asked that we would send a deputy to stand by while they were evacuating. House said during a phone interview Wednesday, all the employees were packing up and leaving. House said they didn't get any more answers to the observatory, but staff members told deputies that the FBI had been there. Quote, nobody would give us any information on what was going on, House said, before the phone call cut out, and repeated attempts to reach him again were unsuccessful. FBI spokesman Frank Fisher would not confirm or deny his agency's involvement, but referred all questions to Aura. U.S. Postal Service spokesman Rod Spurgeon called the situation strange after authorities walked into the nearby post office without warning and told the clerk to evacuate. I wasn't present, so I'm not sure what law enforcement agency told us to evacuate. He said that no time was given on when the post office would reopen. First of all, that is really, really weird. That makes anything a Cringe Report ever covers seem like child's play. And I wanted to talk about this with R11H30. We were going to cover this, but I just thought that is nuts. What? You think that's nuts? You should see the 2 articles I found so far on possible alleged reasons. Number 1, which is most likely, because even the Solar Dynamic Observatory satellites are also offline, or at least were for part of the time. So even the SDO and SOHO are offline as well. It's certainly something with the sun. 2 possible answers. 1, it has been seen a couple times that there was craft around the sun that are extraterrestrial in origin. And number 2, it is possible a massive solar eruption or flare is predicted to be coming, and they don't want anyone to talk about it. Okay? But that's no reason to evacuate a solar observatory over that, unless the National Security Agency and the FBI are getting involved. Please remember the FBI and the NSA was created after the Roswell, New Mexico incident, and that indeed is what the NSA really does, is what spacecraft. But that's something also that I wanted to talk to about in R11H30. Before I talk about Mother Asna, and she did give me some answers, but I want to ask you some questions, if I may. I asked Cringe Report, because Mother told me, anybody who needs to know the answer, because she has the answer, she told me the answer, what's going on, will be able to verify that they were with me, because they will have received the equivalent of the information in the form of a spiritual memo. It will be clearly evident to all those people that follow me and Michele. If other people claim news that is not matching at all, that does not match the information that Michele will not release until a couple weeks from now, that is going to be important. When I asked Cringe Report to ask out on the wire what Mother Asna told him, Immediately, Cringe Report started saying, how dare I question Mother Asna's word? Mother Asna has asked me, she's told me over and over again, I want you to question with boldness. I want you to ask questions. I want you to question because there are so many fakes out there. I want you to ask the questions. If the truth, that's why I'm running a channel like this, really. That's the reason I'm running a channel like this, is to dig out and get the answers. If they're not telling the truth, or if they're evading the question, that means that they are afraid that their answer is going to be incorrect. If they say something and it doesn't match what I told you, then further investigation must continue. If what they tell you matches what I've told you, perfectly matches, then they are in the know. And you know what? No one has said a word. So, I am going to continue to keep Mother's revelation to me silent until the others speak up. But it's a really strange story here with this observatory, and I would like to hear what you, my audience, the many people that watch the show, Irish Ginger Marie, R11H30, Cringe Report, even Pete from the Soup Kitchen, yes, that's something I did mention that you would be announcing, that we are going to be doing a taped channeling with users' questions, and I will let you speak up about that R11H30 of what is going to be planned and why we're doing it this way. That's correct. And every single person that wants to have their questions considered, how are they supposed to contact Rich? I will let Rich give you the contact information of how to submit your questions for consideration for the channeling. But let me say this. Whoever you may be, there is a lot going on right now in this world. And R11H30, I sent him the same stories I have. Right, I understand that. So he'll go into more detail on that. But he did just post his email address, or you can send him the comments, which is rich@11h30.com. That's rich@11h30.com. And you can ask him to have your questions be part of the pool of questions that Mother Asna said she will answer on the channeling. It will be a recorded channeling because I and Mother agree that given the nature of this channel, we want to be totally in a relaxed environment to answer as many questions as we can in a realistic period of time. But I will say that is one weird thing about the observatory. Rich, what do you think about what's going on with the observatory? I mean, that is really strange that not only would they evacuate the observatory, but they also would evacuate the local post office in that area. And yet, there's an observatory down the road that is still open. The Solar Dynamic Observatory satellites, the SDOs, were also offline, according to another commentator, during the same period of time. So that's kind of strange. All this event of why would you evacuate an observatory if it's supposed to be hush-hush, you would think they would just send a gag order to the staff and let them continue working to observe. I don't see how a terrorist attack, because that normally would involve the police. Yeah, or at least the local sheriff, county sheriff. It's kind of strange that they mention a security incident, but they don't have involved with the local sheriff or the Department of Homeland Security. Aliens, that would possibly involve National Security Agency or NSA and possibly the FBI. If you remember, in 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico, it involved the Navy at the time, who actually picked up the wreckage, and I mean thoroughly picked up the wreckage, to the point where they literally combed the sands around Roswell, New Mexico, to the point where make sure there was no remnants of any spacecraft, which a farmer said he saw something at the time along with bodies in Roswell, New Mexico. This place is less than 90 miles away from Roswell, New Mexico. And actually, I think I got it right. It's about 110 miles from Roswell, 90 miles from White Sands, New Mexico. That is just so weird. It doesn't even make any sense that you would evacuate a observatory. That's even more weird. You would think they would just give a gag order, tell the staff to not say nothing, keep it quiet, don't go ahead and get the FBI involved, don't get any of that stuff involved, just get an order from the National Science Foundation telling the staff you're not to release any information. And instead they have Black Ops helicopters involved? That is just so weird. So, James Marie, what do you think? I mean, did you read the notes? Because there was even another paper that definitely sounds like something from Crazy Town. I'm not going to read them right here because you guys don't like me reading you news stories. But let me just tell you, if you look at some of the follow-up articles that are sitting on the Snow Queen general chat, one of the physicists says that the actual real sun has gone dark. And so they are using simulated suns to provide sunlight simulation because the real sun has gone dark and burned out. Well, first of all, that's kind of strange in its own right because of two reasons. Number one, if the sun burned out, the way the sun destroys itself is it would consume, in this case, the innermost planets, seeking the remnants of what is left over of energy available to it, which means all the inner planets would have been turned into ashes. Now, I'm still sitting here, guys. I'm still right in front of you, and you're still watching my video, so that don't make sense. Massive solar flare is still possible. But why would the other solar observatory be continuing to be running down the road? And why in heaven's name would not the individuals do have solar telescopes of their own, small ones. Why aren't they reporting this? However, here's an interesting thing that kind of gives some credence to the artificial sun thing, is we have photographs from a couple years ago of 2 suns in the sky. Now what in the bloody heck is that? Some people say that's a lens imperfection. No, what doesn't sound right? If it's been repeated several times, that doesn't make any sense either. This is perfect for the cringy part because this is exactly the kind of stuff that's cringy. Really. Think about it. I think that would be called conspiracy reports or cringe conspiracy reports. Yeah, but it's just weird. It is weird. alien talk. Okay, well, let's talk about that idea. As I mentioned, several independent observers who have solar telescopes ability have said, and even Soho had shown, before being blacked out a couple times, that indeed there is something around the sun. I've even heard hypotheses that the green comet we saw may actually be a spacecraft. In 2011, there was a hypothesis that the South Pole now, which has found an artificial construct coming towards Earth. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this stream ends up going in the land of the damned and lost streams. So if you guys can please make sure to make a backup copy of this stream, audio or video. In fact, let me do that. Let me turn on my tape recorder on this because this is just absolutely nuts. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch your video because I don't have enough disk space on this thing. But I'm going to start Audacity because I want to make an audio copy of this because, guys, this is just too damn weird. No way you look at it, it doesn't make a damn bit of sense at all that this is happening. Now, I just started the tape, and let me just go ahead and give my preamble on the tape so that we all know this. We're talking about the closing of the National Solar Observatory in Sunspot, New Mexico, which has been evacuated as of last week. Today's date, by the way, is September 14th of 2018. Both the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Black Ops helicopters have been on the site. The local police have been told to get lost. Basically, the local sheriff cannot even find anything out about what's going on with the National Observatory at all. In addition, during this time of the original report, the Solar Dynamics Observatory and SOHO satellites that circle the sun were taken offline, and NASA was not releasing any information whatsoever about what was going on. Now, I'm taping this as a backup, an audio recording, because this is so big that YouTube may decide to just blank it away. I'm serious, they will do it. This is too hot. This is way too hot potato to leave up on YouTube, because YouTube will erase this. You can bet your bottom dollar. I'm telling every single person right now, get your audio or video recordings on. I am also taping this, and I also am live streaming this on Discord as well. I was going to do Twitch, but unfortunately, I would eaten into my binge time quota, and I decided not to put it on Twitch as well. But this is a really big thing. So right now, I'm just reading some of the chat questions. The latest one is, hypotheses is it a solar flare of such magnitude that they do not want it to be discussed? 2, is it an alien spacecraft that may be circulating the sun? 3, is one astrophysicist studying the sun has said that the jig is up, and people will now find out that there's the artificial sun circulating the Earth because the real sun has burned out and gone offline. I think that's kind of extreme. It doesn't make sense for a lot of reasons, which I will go in right now real quick. First of all, to emulate the same amount of solar energy that the real sun would produce would take a fusion reaction. The real sun is about 10,000 times the size of Earth. There is no way in hell we can generate the same amount of energy in a reasonable closeness to Earth that our natural sun, which is a fusion reaction consisting of hydrogen and helium. We don't have enough helium to provide the fuel needed to provide such a fusion reaction. Number 2, it would be so close to Earth, even a small one, that they said there was 9 artificial suns circulating the Earth in such a way to actually make a simulation of the sun. However, a couple of people in the past, in 2011, 2012, and some other ones later on, have shown 2 suns in the sky. So, does that create precedence to that the professor's report, or does that indicate something else? In 2011, there was a South Pole Observatory discovered a very remotely, but definitely traveling this way, what they appear to be a spacecraft. In addition, of course, we have this cigar-shaped spacecraft that has been considered, wondered if it is a man-made object in camouflage. Let me tell you what Mother told me, only in bit. The sun is not in danger. Okay? But we may be in danger from the sun. That's all I'm going to tell you right now. Because of another thing that she told me, which is that I'm not going to divulge it right now, but just to say, pray that the forces of the good triumph over the forces of evil. This is the beginning of the Great War, a renewal of the Great War in the heavens that is going to seriously make everything look small. Okay? But that is no reason to evacuate an observatory at all. If anything, they would normally just give a gag order and be told not to speak up. But they're not even doing that. Instead, they had the FBI there. They were confiscating information. They were making sure they had people on the radio towers. They had people snooping the grounds with portable radio receivers. They were looking for something. Could it be another Roswell? Mother won't tell me specifically about that. She says it's a need to know, and right now, you don't need to know. So, that's all I can tell you at this point. So let's just looking at the facts that are presented to us, because this is really important. We are in a cultural war with the left up save our morality and values in the family structure. Correct. In fact, that's another thing. Even in a news article, Google was outed from a private conference that was released to Breitbart News, which both Gary Franchi on Next News Network and now Fox News has confirmed the same report that Google was in cahoots with Hillary Rotten Clinton and was extremely totally upset that Donald Trump had won the 2016 presidential election because they had put their money on Hillary Clinton winning so that the deep state would continue to still be in deep control of all the events around us. Right now, there is also another set of dangers too, which is misinformation. And that is why we have to be extremely careful right now. I can tell you right now, from almost every single person who has picked up on this news report, particularly this conspiracy theorists, this is serious high-octane fuel. Because of the way that this evacuation was taking place, it has raised every single red flag all over the world. Not just the United States, not just the Northern Hemisphere, but even as I said, the Solar Dynamic Observatory and the SOHO was also shut down by NASA for a time. Rumor has it that they are running old video specifically to make you think that everything is A-OK. In 2012 and 2013, several crafts were spotted around the sun. What did SOHO do? Well, they went ahead and they totally cut and pasted another piece of video right smack dab, right where the craft were. Also, the South Pole observation of the craft coming towards our area has been muzzled. There is nothing more found. I saw the article fresh and hot when it came off the wire, but I have not heard any more since that time. Very interesting, because one of the things that the crafts that they showed, also there is crafts around, and let me forget this right, Jupiter, what we call the ring makers. All of this stuff, by the way, these crafts are not only within our exosolar system, they also are pan-dimensional. Pan-dimensional. From another dimension. I believe this more than I do the astrophysicist report of fake suns, because I have seen the photographs, I've seen the news articles, and I really don't know why that would be a reason to totally shut down an observatory. Does anybody have any questions that I might be able to answer about that? And no, I'm not doing channeling today. I'm just telling you what I'm telling you, because the information was released to me as facts, and I'm not going to go ahead specifically and say Mother Osna's report. Just to tell you, my reasons are a little different, which is that those who are really supposedly in connection with Mother God already know the report. Those that are not in Mother God's communications ring do not know the report. And the information that we are specifying is exactly the kind of information I will say that will confirm the truth and validity for those who claim to be in contact with Mother Osna. And you guys are going to have to wait to near the end of the month to hear about that. Very scary. By the way, speaking of other news, the Democrats are already blaming Donald Trump for poor preparation and poor handling of Hurricane Florence before anybody did anything wrong. This, of course, that's not surprising. They want Donald Trump to look bad. However, I've watched the recovery efforts beginning. I've watched the way he activated during his press conference. He has it all on team. All the teams are active right now. They're actually on the field right now. FEMA is already in place. The National Guard is in place. The resources are there. They're working with Duke Energy. They're working with all the utility companies to make sure that everything is going on. The sun holds secrets, but also, as I said, you also got what they call the ring makers of Saturn that are also important. I'm sorry, I was Saturn, not Jupiter. But Jupiter is actually a failed sun, by the way. So the ring makers of Saturn, they have determined are actually spacecraft that actually were harvesting the matter from the rings, and as the byproducts are making the rings in Saturn. And no, Saturn's rings are not a bunch of smashed moons. Really, it's not. Every single piece of information I'm telling you can be confirmed to some extent. It really can be. Now, let me tell you what we've got going on right now with the weather. Even though it's kind of becoming a little bit of passe, let's go check on the latest story about Hurricane Florence. Mouse is stuck again. No, it's right there. Okay. Let's go to the National Hurricane Center and pull this up. Okay. So, let's go take a look at the latest details on Florence, and then we will get caught up on this right now. One of my friends, by the way, who's not a Trump supporter, he said it's really kind of weird of all the different storms coming up our way. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This gets interesting. Let me just move this thing this way so you can see the systems here. I'm trying not to drop my phone on the floor. Remember these two guys? I told you that they're going to kind of join together. Yep. And then here's Hurricane Florence. Here's Hurricane Isaac. He's cruising into the Gulf of Mexico right now. And let's go to, if I can click on it without making a mess of my screen here. Sometimes I feel like Dan versus. Oh, come on, mouse. Let's go. All right. Here we go. Mr. Calzone is doing a blowback. But this is where it is now. Let me just click on this here. It says right now at 8 p.m. Saturday, it'll be within the shore. By 2 p.m. Friday, it's right now, it's going to be right on the coast. And it is. It's already on the coast right now. Okay? Now look at this. Right now, the wind speeds are in the H category, which is 74 to 110 miles an hour. As of 8 a.m. Saturday, the wind speeds will be 39 to 73. Same thing for 8 p.m. on Saturday. And Sunday, it'll be the letter D of winds of less than 39 miles an hour. But then it slowly peters away, and the extended forecast so that we're going to start to see winds all the way up here. So this system, unfortunately, has been deflected, but it's not, unfortunately, in anybody's best interest. I really think that's kind of scary, honestly. This is one of the things when we get the new Mac is we're going to be able to do a better system layout using something simpler to EasyVid, like Oppenheimer Ranch Project, to show you the situations with the different systems. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on Joyce and Helene. As I already told you, where's my cursor? Come on! Oh, this thing hates you. Yeah, I know, someone's sending me a new mouse. I'm going to be getting that today. Alright, so here's Joyce. And she will peter out over here, or at least according to this, it says she will. But I have a hunch that Joyce and Helene are actually going to marry each other, as I said. And then it will still be a little stronger. It's changed the track just a tiny bit. I hope the Irish Summer Queen is up on her game, because here it comes. The good old Green Isles is going to be in the risk of a direct hit of the combined Helene and Joyce event, as that is being pushed the same way, just like the other system. Very, very, very scary. And by the way, we already saw that Isaac is coming into the Gulf. Okay? Mr. X, Mr. Orange X, is now a yellow X, and it says, come on, mouse, work with me here. Work with me! You stupid. There we go. This mouse sucks. Use the other one. Alright, I will. Let me grab the other mouse. I have 3 mice plugged in this computer, so I can use all 3. So, yeah, this is definitely better. This is an optical mouse. Mr. Yellow X says, chance of cyclonic formation in 48 hours. However, it says numerous showers and thunderstorms continue in association with a elongated low pressure area located near the coast of Texas and northeastern Mexico, while development into a tropical depression is not expected since the system is almost on shore. Heavy rainfall and gusty winds are likely across portions of the northeastern Mexico and Texas through Saturday. Interest there should be monitoring the situation. So this guy, however, Isaac, over here, says, well, let's pull up the detail what it says is predicted path is. Oh dear. Yeah, right into the coast, right into the Gulf. And it's going to be a letter D, a winds of less than 39 miles an hour. Guys, you can't even bullshit this yet. This stuff is like right here. I think this is so obviously that something's going on. Even my Democrat friend says, we are in the final days. She says she thinks that Trump will be impeached. I said, no, I don't think he's going to be impeached. But Michael Moore said he thought Donald Trump would be our last U.S. president. So I think that there may be some truth to what Michael Moore says, even though I think he's an idiot. The Mark Taylor prophecies kind of indicates the same thing, that there's going to be a serious change of the game after Donald Trump's second term in office, and that there will not be another presidential candidate. So I think that there's some interest to that. Okay. Yes, USB lets you have as many mice as you have. You can have 3. I have 3 computer mice. I have a wireless mouse, as long as I make sure to keep it charged. I have a PS2 mouse plugged in through a USB adapter. And I have a standard, generic, 1-button Apple optical mouse. So I got 3 mice. And actually, you can have as many keyboards as you want to. People don't realize that, but you can have as many keyboards as you want. So, I found out many years ago, and it's been an invaluable tool ever since to have multiple mice, especially when you're teaching people computers. You can have a keyboard, they can have a keyboard, and then, of course, you can even set up an external USB screen, which I could have used the same USB screen dingus idea. So I could plug in an external USB to VGA adapter and then plug that into my video capture system. But I never set up that, but I've done it with other things and it worked fine. So, really, this is really just totally nuts. Well, sometimes you might want to have 2 mice, as I said, like for example, if you wanted to run virtual or training sessions where you want to have people to do multiple things at one time, multiple mice gives you the ability to each have a mouse and keyboard, so that when you're teaching somebody, as long as you both can see the screen, you can help them by helping them correct errors and typos. At the same time, just like a student driver will sometimes be in a car with 2 steering wheels, one for the teacher, one for the student, so that way the student can learn, or in this case, that would be a particular productive use for 2 mice or 3 mice. Also, with the virtual computer platforms, you may actually have multiple sessions running on one machine. Each mouse and each keyboard can be associated with each virtual network computing environment. Thus, you can have a single computer feeding multiple displays, multiple keyboards, and multiple mice. And each one is individually adjustable with their own individual USB or Thunderbolt or DisplayPort screen. It's actually, I've used it a few times, as I said. If, like in this case, it's nice. If this one mouse acts crappy, I can grab the other one. If the other mouse, that way. Okay. Anyway, seriously, I'm just trying to tell you is this, like I said, given what's going on with the National Solar Observatory, that is just totally weird. it seems like, even Lisa Haven just posted something. Let's see what she said here. What is an Asgardia? Who are they creating a country and recreating? Oh boy. Oh, I love you, Lisa Haven. You just dropped another booger right on me. Asgardia? Okay, what is Asgardia? Asgardia is a space country in outer space. We talked about micronations. Yeah. Oh, boy. Today I'm batting a 990 today. Asgardia. Oh, all the news out there. I don't want to replay too many people else's news stories. So let me tell you what I know about Asgardia, and I will just post a link to Lisa Haven. Actually, let me play some of her story. If I play a story, you going to scream at me? Yeah, my wireless mouse is okay. It's an old Logitech as long as it's charged. Let me just pull up the story here by Lisa Haven. This is something I'm going to play only a piece of it. I'm not going to play all the details because I don't want to get copyright strikes for stealing somebody else's story. Okay.
Creepy, interesting, a little weird, beautiful? Well, either way, what you just heard was the national anthem to a place they are calling Asgardia. And no, I'm not talking about the Marvel Comics Asgardia where Thor lives and Loki lives and, quote, the home of the gods. No, I'm talking about a physical space center or space ark, if you want to call it that they plan on building in space. It comes complete with its own set of rules, regulations, its own set of taxes, and it's even its own constitution. Yeah. Kind of a bit much, if you ask me, and a bit creepy. But let me just take you straight to the source so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the website, and as you're going to see on there, the head of the nation, or president of Asgardia, if you want to call him that, is Dr. Eeyore Ashelbay, and he is a billionaire who is pouring all of his money into this space center. Now, you can see he even has his own dates on here. He's got August 28th, 0002. As an actual date, so he set his own calendar for it. And not only that, but if you look at this number, there are 268,402 residents so far who have signed onto this. Now, real quick, what I want to say about that is, considering those residents, considering the Space Center doesn't yet exist, it hasn't been created, I will say there are plans underway and they're pouring money and they're going forward with the idea.
That's enough of that. You guys can go to Lisa Haven's channel herself and find out more. Asgardia is actually being created as a micronation. Of all the things to talk about, we've talked about micronations in the past. This one would be a micronation outside of the world, outside of the United States. Really, really weird. And of course, my mouses are acting up today. Come on, guys. Let's get some work done. Thank you. Cursor. Okay, good. Here we go. Very strange news keeps coming up every day. I just can't even tell you just how crazy it is. And, really, really weird. Absolutely, positively, astronomically in the weird category. What's going on? Okay. Very interesting indeed. Oh, Living Golden, did you get that articles I shared with you about the physicist who talked about the artificial suns. I thought that was really, really interesting. But I think it definitely is a ticket to Crazy Town because of reasons that I will tell you right now. For those of you who didn't catch me at the beginning of the video about this. Number one, to make the artificial suns even appear as realistic as possible, they would have to be doing three things. One, they would have to be producing an equal amount of heat energy equivalent to what our sun actually puts to Earth, which would require a huge amount of fuel to make that happen. Number two, it would also have to emulate the sun's cycles. Now, we can do that by using the Lagrange points, which the Clark points are part of. But the problem with number three is going to be, which is the same as number one, is the amount of energy required to get the fuel for the hydrogen and helium out into space to create a fusion reaction. And to feed so-called 9 fusion reactors in the middle of space doesn't seem very practical at all. Number 4, if our main sun really did burn out, our planet would be cooked as the sun itself would expand to devour all the internal planets of our solar system. That's a pretty big deal. Number 4, according to this physicist, they said that they've also created artificial Earths or planets in the sky so that we would think we see Jupiter, we would think we see Saturn, we would think we see Mars. But the sad truth is, that doesn't hold a damn bit of water. Really, it doesn't. We have Storm Helena, which is the tail end of the U.S. storm hitting us next week. Yeah, I told you about that. I told you at the beginning of the show. That's a good question. Now, also, we will be doing a special, for those of you who came in late, so you know this, we'll be doing a special taped channeling, and Rich, as of tomorrow's show, actually, he already kind of announced it already, that he is starting to take your questions for the special taped channeling with Mother Asna, which will be around the 29th of September. So you guys can be ready to go. It will be taped so that we can all watch it, because Mother has said that she would rather be able to do it in a calm way instead of potentially having every single person dumping comments all over us and totally derailing everybody. Yeah, I know. Okay, our Lebanese 30 says, hi, I'm back. Okay, where you go? Lunch break? Possibly. Yeah, lunch break. 2:45 lunch? Could be. You never know. So I'm in work and I'm in and out. Okay, I figured that. Now, by the way, I want to answer a couple questions Out on the Water asked. Has nothing to do whatsoever with anything else, but I'm going to answer it. He asked me, he says, do you eat healthy food at the soup kitchen? And yesterday's lunch was far from healthy. It was pancake syrup, hash browns, and sausages and bacon, and I was really not impressed by that at all. So when I came home, I made a large amount of vegetables for dinner, and I ate a nice, healthy vegetarian dinner last night. And because the soup kitchen, and I made enough leftovers for another night's meal, so I don't have to worry about going hungry and eating garbage. Okay? The soup kitchen, unfortunately, is not going to be open on Saturday, so all the extra vegetables and stuff I made last night, I will be eating more of it on Saturday night as well. Today's lunch was a healthier lunch, consisting of chicken and gravy with rice and some green peppers and one piece of cake. I was going to have brownie with ice cream and chocolate sauce. I was going to have another serving at lunch, but they were serving late, and I didn't feel like sitting around for seconds. I have been swarmed with my regular job, and now my new job is accountability chief. Yeah, and I sent a cringe report, a question to ask you, which is, what did Mother tell you about what's going on at the Solar Observatory? And cringe report kind of got a little defensive about it. A cow with almonds and granolas. Hi, John Barron. How you doing today? I gotta admit that the story about the Solar Observatory is certainly burning up the wires all over. The conspiracy theories, they're swarming over it like people originally swarmed over the first iPhone. Really big time. Oh, speaking of that, Apple has just released a new iPhone. A whole lot of new stuff from Cupertino. The problem is, it keeps the same basic issue with the notch that the existing iPhone 10 has. You want to know what the model number is? iPhone 9. Okay, why was it called iPhone 9 and not iPhone 10 or iPhone 11? Well, because originally iPhone 10 or iPhone X was called iPhone 10 in honor of the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. Well, I eat it once in a while, but I don't really eat a lot of meat products when I'm cooking my own. I tend to stay away from meat because I can't afford to buy it. Which, if you've been reading the Situation with Oppenheimer Ranch Project, the Ice Age Farmer, and at that 2030, you will notice that the price of commodities such as foodstuffs are going to go through the roof. Because the amount of wheat and crop failures has been astronomical. Actually, nope. It would be under Euro because Mother said that all the stewards that she's working with has released information because it is of importance. And that's all I can tell you. And Cringe Report basically started evading the question and didn't even want to ask you what it was that Mother Osna sent you the memo about. And as far as the ISQ, I don't not dispute. Right now, Mother told me straight out he is not part of this project. He's not part of her project anyway. I think it was you or Cringe Report that said that there is several false people out there who have been saying various things, and I think that's important to consider. I've been reading a lot about farm subsidies and I'm against. But right now, the farm subsidies isn't going to help anybody. Except to say is that paying a farmer to grow more when they've been suffering severe drought, crop failures all over the world is not going to be enough to save them. Okay? And after all, the governments are not going to be able to provide enough resources for their people due to the chaotic weather, the droughts, the floods. And don't forget, there are farms in North and South Carolina that will be seriously impacted as well of what's going on with Hurricane Florence, which is just making landfall now. And evidence is coming in of the damage that is starting to show up. So it's the problem is a lot more complicated. Well, I'm not disrespecting your authority. Mother Asna has always told me to question when I wonder if it's real or not. And she said, you have the right to question what you think may be wrong, to call a spade, to call a screwdriver, to request facts and truth. If you cannot get facts and truth, or if the person is not willing to answer the questions, then you need to draw suspect of what they're saying. So I'm going to say for the time being, because I explained to Mother that you got to be cagey around this channel, because too many people of this channel think this channel is a comedy routine and will actually is dragon streaming. What do you mean, is dragon streaming? I'm recording this on both Discord and on the other software there, Audacity. It's a backup copy in case YouTube's very far left group wants to start yanking streams off the air. At least then we will have at least a copy of this. Everybody has the right to question, especially, like I said, if there's something that doesn't sound right, you definitely have the right to ask about it. So, out on the wire, I know you came late, but you probably saw something of this on Fox News, because covered about the Solar Observatory. What is your opinion? That's right. The latest evidence shows that the storm is going to fold over, like I said, like a calzone, even more so than yesterday. And it's going to be very significant. Let me go back to this. This is just totally weird. I mean, let's freaking find this article. This is just totally crazy. All right, so let me go back to the situation. You mentioned Dalene, which even Irish Ginger Marie now understands. I'm talking about Irish Ginger Marie. Is this very charged? Yeah, it's charged. Well, it's not moving. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Okay. This here, you really got to learn the keyboard shortcuts for this job. I agree with you. All right, so let's go back to look at this situation with the path of Florence again. Just to give you an idea what's happening here. It's folded over on itself. Remember I told you about that high that was keeping the system from going this way, and it started to look kind of like it was folding back over like a calzone? Well, it's flipped over quite a bit, and the remnants of Hurricane Florence is going to come right into the New England areas as well. Here's what I'm concerned about right now is what happens if this system continues to come back out, regroups over the warmer tropical oceans, and then, because given what it's wind, it could go towards the UK, British Isles, given what's going on now. Yeah, it's pretty big deal. Just don't know what to tell you right now, but to say right now is by the time this comes in, it's already on the coastline here. You can see the simulated coastline here, the redness going all the way down to part of Georgia and into part of Virginia for right now is spared from what I can see here, but North and South Carolina and a little bit of Tennessee are going to get some of this. So this is another situation where North Carolina, South Carolina, and a little bit of Georgia are the two main states are going to be North Carolina and South Carolina. But the North east of Georgia is going to get some of the tropical depression events. It's going to just be a royal mess for everybody. And it's just not a good thing. Another thing that's not a good thing is I got to get some more Can-C eye drops, which helps my right eye and my left eye, and I have to get some more. So I have to see if I can secure some for next month. I truly have swamped getting settled in the menu. Okay, I have no reason not to support him. Thank you, Levin. That's, I don't want to thank you, R11. I promise that I can do this for the good of humanity. John Barron, is the solar cycle might be affecting the weather pattern? Yes, if you look at what they talk about, the cosmic solar rays, and the fact that our sun is starting to go into a minimum stage, and the solar rays are actually, the cosmic rays are affecting the weather. With all that power, accountability is critical. I would rather cut off a finger than watch Fox News. Well, was the Democratic Congress professor that shot himself in the arm in protest to Trump? What the heck did that do? Besides a lot of blood loss and a lot of pain. Yeah, well, people protest all kinds of reasons, Lou. Okay, so the point here is that this situation is just so weird. Situation is just too weird of all the things that are happening. At least Michele used a more creditable, larger mainstream news source for her resources instead of watching InfoWars for everything. Yeah, InfoWars has got a couple pieces out, which I didn't really wanted to get into the InfoWars right now, but we could go into InfoWars stories, but I think for the time being, I think we have enough to chew on with the National Solar Observatory story alone. That they're not telling us anything, that they are in the equivalent of a lockdown as far as news accountability, as far as getting the story out. The situation is just strange. I understand that. I understand that. I got that part. I don't know where. I understand what you say. You said you're not in competition with me. But like I said, there's a lot of things going on at this time that just are really strange. Let's go to... Well, let's take a look and see what Fox News' latest news is. Just curious here. I'm gonna click on, let's see, I might as well overrate over here, go into this one here, and then just put this news story on here about Fox News, and see if we can get the information about what's going on with the latest fresh hot news from Fox News. Is not my only source of news I use, but it's one of the many sources I use. Okay, so let's go take a look at this one here. Come on, hurry up, load it. By the way, incidentally related to this is Florence turns fatal. Mom, baby become first deaths attributed to monster hurricane as wind, rain, plummet Carolinas. Hurricane Florence slashes Carolina residents. Share first harrowing stories of storm's fury. Graphic photos, man charged with fatally poisoning 137 protected birds. Right remains silent. Twitter boss admits conservatives who work for him scared to come out. Well, it's because you make everybody nervous that they're going to throw them in the censored pile. Sudden closure. There's the same story I just read about the New Mexico. Kavanaugh describes cryptic charge after DIFI makes federal case of high school era allegations. NFL team takes odd jabs at Trump, supports players. John Kerry in presidential crosshair over illegal meetings with Iran. Legendary rockers eerie hologram brings sons to tears. And we can go to the exclusive video. Watch tracking the path. Amazing. Narwhal taken by group of beluga whales. DOD radius 9,700 troops of Hurricane Florence response. Florence slows to a crawl of the Carolina coast. Incredible cliff collapses on popular beach in Greece. Transformers blow as Florence bears down on North Carolina. Yeah. Pretty significant, wild category. What's going on? Let's see. Full Florence coverage. Okay, so now Hurricane Florence news. Let's take a look at this real quick, guys. I think this is just a map, but maybe it's not. Let's see if I can get this to play, or if we're going to run into a paywall. I keep running into paywalls. And is everybody watch live? Going cake. Let's see, what are you doing now? Let's see. Working for global. Okay, here we go. Fox News Go. Okay. On air now. Okay. Florence, see full schedule. Countdown closing bell. Governor Michele McMaster's briefing on Hurricane Florence. Hurricane Florence batters North Carolina. Fox News Channel isn't even playing. Yeah, it's loading. Is it? Something went wrong. Yeah, well, that's great. So let's go to what's going on the Hurricane Florence coverage. I think this is just the pictures, but let's see what they can pull up here. So let's see if we can get this news piece to show up here. Hurricane Florence batters North Carolina. Come on, you gonna play now, or you gonna make me sit there and basically poke you with a sharp stick? It's not playing nothing. It's because I think he wants you to pay for a subscription to cable television package or something. Yeah, right. Well, the problem is that they don't exactly make it easy to pay for a prescription for a package for cable when I don't even have cable. But anyway, the point is the situation is just a mess. Okay. The system, as I said, there always has been one fatality of mother and child fatality because of the severity of Hurricane Florence's aftermath. It's just crazy what's going on with the systems. I just don't know what to tell you that I would want to be in that Hurricane Florence's wake right now. Just really scary. Really scary. So, if you're doing nothing wrong, you have nothing to be concerned about, no need to be upset, mute. I understand that. I've done nothing wrong. I've checked the CNN about the coverage. They're saying the same thing, that Donald Trump's resources have been mobilized. And people have actually hoping that this is God. There's going to be enough resources due to the amount of damage that Hurricane Florence's storm surge and the flooding is going to do. Obviously, the power grid in North and South Carolina is going offline as transformers short out and fail. Actually, Michele really can't watch too much CNN because of Therese is the one, number one. CNN has a presence on YouTube. Oh, right. And so does RT.com. There's the point here is what we're seeing between the Solar Observatory, the weather, and like my friend said, and she's a Democrat, she said there's 7 named storms going right now. She said, I've never seen 7 named storms at one time on Earth. I have not seen as much droughts. I have not seen as much flooding as what's going on right now globally. So that's pretty significant. But it's 306. 306. And we're going to get ready to wrap it up soon because we're pretty much done. You want to go quickly to Fox News? And it was just on Fox News. I mean the YouTube Fox News channel. Yeah, I can look at the Fox News channel on YouTube. Let me do that. Let me click over here. Here's the actual article here. So let's see what the Fox News might be showing some of these links. Michele's got to get more Can-C eye drops, guys. Yes, I do. All right. I'm actually going to have to get some next month. So we'll... Come on, cursor. Cursor. There you go. There we go. I hate when this mouse decides to take a nap. I think part of the problem is that this computer is really just not compatible with your eyesight anymore. Well, I wouldn't dismiss the possibility. Okay. Fox News. Okay. Click on this, enter, and see they have a YouTube channel right here on the live tracking Hurricane Florence 2018. Manafort pleads guilty to deal with special. Yes, I do know about the plea deal. I don't know why. Some people do. Some people do. Okay, I'll give you that. All right, so tracking Hurricane Florence. Okay. And drive-through Wilmington reveals damage. Ah, there we go. Yeah, you guys wanted to see damage? Here we go. 8 minutes and 11 seconds. So let's go to this.
I want to bring this moving camera from Wilmington full screen now, if we could. This is a ride along in Wilmington. So if you know Wilmington, town of about 115, 120,000 people, you have friends there. Wilmington is the inland town from Wrightsville Beach. So if you live in Wilmington and you go to the beach, you drive over the big coastal highway there and the big bridge over to Wrightsville, and that's where you spend weekends if you're lucky. So this is in...
Oops, sorry about that. Let me maximize the screen anyway. Come on, you dirt. I know. There it is down here. Okay, maximize. Okay, let's go to the maximize screen on this, and you can see this.
Inland by about 8 miles, and it's our first really drive-along look like this to see what things are like. And it's great to see all these trees still standing. Certainly there are a lot of limbs in the road, having some connection problems there with the mobile hookup. I believe we're probably using a live view here, which is a piece of equipment that connects to internet signals and then broadcasts these live pictures. As you see a tree there split in half on the left, some debris down there on the right. And just the drive along gives us kind of an idea. You know, originally this storm was a Category 4. The meteorologist didn't see any way that it was going to weaken, because there were really no steering currents, there was no wind shear or anything like that. Then 2 days ago in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock Eastern time, we were speaking with a pilot in a hurricane hunter plane. And he was in the southeast quadrant of the storm. And we were looking at it on the map and saying, man, it looks like that southeastern quadrant is having trouble. Sure enough, we got up to him and he said it's having an outflow problem. We're not sure what it's about, but the way that the water and the winds are coming out of that thing. Remember, the center of a hurricane, the eye of a hurricane, is like as if you had a fireplace with a big chimney and all the heat and the smoke goes out the top. Well, that's the way it is with a hurricane in the eye. The winds go straight up there, and then the walls of the hurricane, of the eye of the hurricane, that's where the heaviest winds are. Well, they were having an outflow problem on the southeastern quadrant of that storm. Suddenly, within a few hours, the eye wall began to break down. We would later learn it was a bit of an eye wall replacement cycle, but a bunch of dry air from wind shear got into this storm. See a tree down there on the right. And that dry air and the wind shear began to diminish the intensity of this storm. So thank goodness this storm did weaken, even though the meteorologists didn't think it was going to, from a Category 4 down to a Category 3, then a Category 2, now a Category 1. That doesn't change the onshore flow, doesn't change the storm surge, doesn't change the rain that much, but it changed the wind. So imagine if this storm hadn't weakened and we'd had 140-mile-an-hour winds. This isn't good in Wilmington. There's certainly a lot of mess as the car drives along here at 13 minutes past 1 in the afternoon, but it's certainly not what it would have been from Category 4 winds. These trees in waterlogged earth after historic rains for them over the past couple of months. They've had more than 20 inches of rain over the past couple of months, which is just an extraordinary amount for this time of year. And then, of course, over the last day or two, some areas have had a year's worth of rain in 48 hours. But again, a little bit higher ground here. I'm kind of enjoying giving you this look around. For those of you who are familiar with Wilmington, again, it's about 8 miles off the coast, inland a little bit. It's on a body of water itself, but not on the Atlantic. And it gives us an idea of what neighborhood to neighborhood looks like. I'm not able to know, because I'm not intimately familiar with this town, I'm not able to know exactly where we are, and the signal is not that clean. But you look at these houses on the right and the left, you don't see a lot of shingles off the roof. You see you don't see power lines down, at least not here. You see a few branches in the street. There's that white car on the right, the truck just ahead. No damage apparently to any of this. The traffic lights, see up there, the traffic lights are out because the power is certainly down. It looks like this truck has had to turn around because of that limb that's down in the street. It's either a limb or a small tree or something, but this truck has had to turn around. And there's no access through that way. So they're going to take a right here and back downhill, it looks like. See, all the power lines are standing. None of these cars have damage to their windows. When the wind velocity gets above 120 miles an hour, it starts to pick up pebbles and rocks. And the wind is strong enough to pick up large rocks, and those rocks fly into windows of cars and beat on the side of cars. They break out windows.
Okay, so that's basically the general gist of what is going on. And I don't want to get too many copyright strikes by playing too much copyrighted material, but you can still see that the good news is, like you said, is that the currents, the storm had dropped enough to keep the damage down at bay. That was a big deal as the system kind of just petered out. He said they didn't expect it was going to degrade and become a Category 1, and that's exactly what happened. Okay. I don't know, well, Trump will be held accountable. Oh, no, I don't think Donald Trump is the problem here. Bias. So the point is that the system did weaken. Solar cycle might be affecting the weather. Yes, indeed. I would read up what affects news. I'm not in competitions with you, blah, 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 blah. Strange is an understatement for all of this. My role is simply to Fox News must be fair. You should check CNN. Okay. Do one prayer life for those, and yeah, I can do that. Actually, I can, because Mother said that she doesn't feel like doom channeling right now, so I will do it, a prayer, and of course my prayer still counts for something. It does. Alright, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and give a quick prayer out for all those people in North and South Carolina who obviously are going to be having some hard times ahead for at least a couple of weeks at the minimum, and then so let's get started. Holy Father, Mother God, we pray to you today and ask we petition and your assistance for those in North and South Carolina at the mercy of Hurricane Florence. May they be safe from all the damage that has occurred. May their families be safe. May all the children and parents be together. May the communities recover quickly. And we ask that you will be with them at all in their journeys as they return home and the process of the cleaning up after this event has occurred. And of course, we pray for those who have lost loved ones in the system. And of course, we realize that the system is going to come back over, blow back towards the New England states as a tropical depression. And we ask you, Mother God, and all the angels and saints, and from our brother Jesus of Nazareth, to be with us all, to give us strength, and protect the innocent who are being afflicted by these events. And we ask this in the blessed name of our brother Jesus Christ, and Father Yahweh, and all Mother Yasna, that everybody will be protected from all this evil event. And also for the people at the National Solar Observatory, may you be able to finally clear up the story and let us know what is going on with the National Solar Observatory as well. Amen. Amen. I will give my prayers because I understand the situation definitely involves divine intervention. And yeah, I know, I screw up too. Michele always screws up sometimes in spontaneous thing. That's why recently Mother Yasway. That's kind of cute. Ola Mother can be called anything she wants. She's known as Mary, as Sophia, and as even in the Norse have known her as Frigga. Both things. But anyway, Father Yahweh and Mother Asna are, of course, known by many names. It's just another name to add to her quiver of names, I guess. It's still a very valid point, is that regardless, I want everybody to be safe. This event is going to be significant to so many people. Now, that was a speech error. But still, I want you guys to be safe. And, oh yes, by the way, as you ever wondered about this thing called the frying pan shoals and the frying pan tower in North Carolina, that was originally a former Navy light station that has been purchased by an individual for $85,000 around 2015, and it's being renovated and fixed up and being turned into, it already is actively a bread and breakfast. It is 35 miles offshore in North Carolina, and it's quite a trip to imagine going there. Okay, guys, for now, that's about a wrap. I will put this replay on Discord, even though it is not complete. We didn't get to the very beginning of the video, but it will be enough in case YouTube and the powers that be decides that they don't want this live stream to be available for others to watch. And I'll also pray for those in the National Solar Observatory, because something's going on, and nobody knows, because nobody's being allowed to even talk to even the FBI won't say nothing, even to the sheriff in the county, which is pretty scary. I will see you guys tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and the soup kitchen will not be open tomorrow. So, and don't forget that tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, we'll have the Cringe Report, and that's all I can tell you for now. But so for now, you have a nice day. Stay safe wherever you are. Okay, if you're in Hurricane Florence's turf, please be very careful, because there is still down wires, there's still down trees, and just. Somebody obviously has intervened in a positive way to protect you from the worst of the worst. Amen. Okay, guys. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.